Hello and welcome to pmplounge.com. Today, continuing our mini series on the group creativity techniques, we are talking about context diagrams. What are context diagrams? Well, the name gives out a bit of details here for sure. These are diagrams that can help you understand the context of what is being talked about, of course, right? Again, group creativity techniques, where does it fit in? The next slide is going to detail that. And if you have seen any of the videos in the mini series of group creativity techniques, the next slide is going to be a repetition. So feel free to skip the next slide and move on. All right, so the knowledge area that we are talking about here is scope management. And of course, scope management knowledge area has several processes. One of those process is collect requirements. And the in collect requirements, there are several tools and techniques. And today we are talking about context diagrams, which is one of the group creativity techniques. Again, I like to repeat, the knowledge area that we are talking about here is scope management. The process that we are talking about here is collect requirements. Within collect requirements, there are several tools and techniques of collect requirements. One of them is group creativity techniques, and one of the group creativity techniques is context diagrams. The other tools and techniques of collect requirement process our interviews, focus groups, facilitated workshop, group decision making techniques, and all of them have been discussed previously over here at PMP Lounge. The entire playlist to all these videos will be available in the description. The playlist for group creativity techniques, all the videos on group creativity techniques will also be available in the description, as well as a playlist on all the videos that we have done on scope management knowledge area will also be available as always. So that is where we are. That was the context of context diagrams, if I may, where context diagrams fit in your PMP courseware. Now let's try to understand what exactly context diagrams are in terms of theoretical explanation. So context diagrams, like I mentioned earlier, as the name gives out a bit here, context diagrams help in visualizing how all the processes and features in the product scope relate to each other. So we are talking about the product scope, not the project scope here. Keep that in mind. So we are talking about the product scope and how all the processes and features relate to each other. That is what context diagrams try to explain here. And it can be termed as a pictorial representation of the product scope that shows how users will interact with it. So again, this is a context diagram give out the context of the product scope. And it can also be said that it is a pictorial representation of how users are going to interact with the end product of the project. Now, there are different types of context diagrams. Let's take a look at that. So you've got data flow diagrams, activity diagram, control flow diagram, system context diagram, workflow diagram, or just the workflow. These are different types of diagrams which are similar to context diagrams, and you might have, based on your job role and based on your industry, based on your position, you might have come across one or two of these, right? Data flow diagrams or workflow diagram or control flow diagram or things like that. So these diagrams are basically similar to context diagrams. So that is going to give you a better understanding of what context diagrams are. Let's take a look at an actual context diagram. So this is an example of a context diagram of an ordering system. So ordering system is the end product here, right? And what are the outputs? So ordering system, the accounting is um, one of the teams, right, or one of the functions that takes output from the ordering system. Another output from the ordering system are the complaints. So the customer service function can take another output from the ordering system and access the complaints that come in. right? So these are two of the outputs from the ordering system. Let's look at other outputs as well. So credit request, the credit authorization company, that function also takes an output from the ordering system. This function actually gives an input as well to the ordering system, and it gives the input of the credit status, right? So the output of the ordering system is the credit request. There is a request for credit, and the input is the status from the credit card authorization company, the status that goes into the ordering system. For accounting, any cash receipts is what is communicated by the ordering system to the accounting. Complaints are communicated again to the customer service department. Those are the outputs that ordering system is expected from customer service function perspective, and the input expected is the corrected orders from the customer service function. Similarly, there are other functions. So you've got the customer itself, you've got the warehouse, and how the ordering system deals with all these, right? So you've got ordering system when it talks to the warehouse, it is basically giving an output of the picking list to the warehouse. That's all. It's a one-way communication here. While when it comes to the customer, you can see there are multiple ways of communication. You've got orders which are coming into the ordering system, the order status which is going out of the ordering system. You've got payments which are coming into the ordering system by the customers, of course, and you've got complaints that are coming into the ordering system by the customers. So this is how basically a context diagram looks like. It gives you a context. Like I said, similar kind of diagrams are available out there, and you might have gone through one or two of such diagrams. So context diagrams, again, if you're in a group, if you're in the collect requirements process, if you're making use of the context diagrams, group creativity technique, you can sit with your group, you can create a context diagram, and that way you'll be able to understand. You might have come up with all these requirements, but you might have forgot how complaints will be handled, right? So when you're drawing the context diagram is when you'll be able to see what the flow of the complaints should be, where should complaints come from, where should complaints go to, and that way you'll be able to come up with better requirements, and that way you'll be able to come up with the creative solutions and ideas for your product. So that's all that we had in this video. Hope you learned a thing or two about context diagrams. As always, we have several other videos on PMP concepts on this channel. So subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Check us out on our social media, facebook.com/PMP Lounge and twitter.com/PMP Lounge. And as always, do check out the website pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.